What is up, my beautiful entrepreneurs? Today we're going to talk about something you probably never talked about when it comes to entrepreneurship: consistency. I mean, unless you follow any other entrepreneurs, then you've probably heard them talk about consistency being important. But that's why I want to talk about it, because it really is important. But I'm not only going to tell you that consistency is important because I don't want to beat a dead horse that much. I'm going to show you a couple quick tools, or talk about a couple quick tools that you can use to stay consistent and on top of your social media game when it comes to being consistent. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to use my pod decks here. I like to use these so you can get to know me a little more and my guests, but I'm going to go ahead and draw a random card here. If you're watching on YouTube, you see I'm just drawing a random card. Don't know what the card is out of the middle of the deck here. See what the question is going to be. All right. If you had to delete all but 3 apps from your smartphone, which ones would you keep? I'm going to assume that all the mandatory apps get to stay because I can't delete those. So like Messenger and Calendar, all that kind of stuff gets to stay. So 3 apps that I would keep. I'm going to keep Instagram. Ooh, this is tough. Yeah, man. Instagram, Facebook. I'm going to say the business suite on Facebook because that's tough. Yeah. Probably the business suite because it gives me access to more stuff. I don't need to see the timeline. It'd probably do me good to delete regular Facebook. And probably the Bible app. Those are the 3 apps I'm going to keep, because the rest of them probably waste a lot of time anyways. Ever since they did the iPhone update where you have like the second screen that is just like the app library, ever since they add that, I have not played one game on my phone. It's been amazing because I used to have like a second page and I would like keep the random games that I wanted to play in there, and it was bad. And then they added that and it took all my folders away, or like I took them away and just added the app library. Best thing that's ever happened for my productivity. But yeah, that's the 3 apps I would keep. This is my pod decks. If you want to check out pod decks, go to poddecks.com. If you use code TheMattPeet at checkout, then you get some money off when you buy any of their physical products, which is pretty awesome. But let's get into some consistency because that's important too. So consistency. There's a reason that TV shows and everything, all the media you consume is consistent. It's because people can set their schedule out. Most people live on a normal schedule. So they're going to set a routine around your content. So if you want to put out videos or you want to share images, it's going to help to be consistent. Now, this is coming from somebody who has areas of his life in which he could be more consistent, like posting to Instagram. I'm really bad about being consistent about posting to Instagram. It's something I'm working on. I'm still trying to figure out what content I even want to share on Instagram, what I feel is relevant to the people who follow me. But staying consistent when you're trying to build a platform is going to be huge. Now, there's one, it's one outlier, exclusion, I guess, whatever you call it, to this rule that I think is important to mention. If anybody out there watches YouTube, you watch Mr. Beast. If you haven't heard of him, check him out. He's a really just great guy in general. He gets sponsorships and then he takes that money he gets from the sponsorships and he just finds cool ways to give back to the community, to give it to people in general, to do fun things with his friends. It's just, he's an all around nice guy, philanthropist. But to my knowledge, he doesn't post on a consistent schedule. I mean, I see his viral videos pop up from time to time, but the thing is, he's doing such different, unique things that whenever he does post a video, there's just automatic virality built into it. So if you want to do something like that, where you're going to be doing something completely absurd and you know that it's going to catch on, then yeah, you can do a one-off video here and then wait a month or 2 or 3 weeks or whatever until you can find another thing to put out that's going to do that. But if you're like most of us and you don't have a sponsor that's going to pay you $50,000 to give to random Twitch streamers or to tip on a glass of water at a restaurant, then we have to do some other stuff. Now, Mr. Beast is consistent in the fact that he is always putting out great content. All of his content, is unique. So in that matter, he's consistent, but his posting, to my knowledge, is not consistent. He just puts out really great stuff whenever he does. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there. If you're somebody who's going to be doing something completely different, unique, if you're jumping the Grand Canyon kind of thing on a motorcycle, obviously that's going to get more views. But Consistency when it comes to your marketing. If you have videos you want to put out, if you have a series, like say you own a restaurant and you want to put out a video menu, it's going to be better to have that consistency built in so people know, hey, every Monday they're going to show us a new menu item they have or a new secret thing they have at their spa or whatever it is. Whatever you're going to be putting out, find that video theme if you can and try to just script those out. Like even if it's like a loose script or a schedule, you know what you're going to talk about these weeks. So then, for instance, I have clients who pay me money. I go in once a month. I shoot multiple videos for that month and they're allowed to schedule them ahead of time. So part of conquering this consistency issue is having a backlog of content. For instance, before I launched this podcast, I had over 10 episodes recorded in the bank. So I didn't have to worry about, getting 3 episodes in and then be like, oh man, I don't have another episode for this week. I'm going to reach out to this person, record, and then that one's going to go live next week, but I'm going to miss this week and I'm going to backdate it. I've got a month and a half, 2 months of content already planned out and ready to go. And I hope I can stay that way and just continue to reach out to people from this point on and stay a month or 2 ahead. It'll be absolutely amazing. But you want to have that backlog of content so you don't have to worry about running yourself ragged trying to come up with content to post. So if you can sit down, schedule out some ideas, come up with a group of ideas and put those out there, record them all in one day, and then schedule them out. So that way you can work on, using those as your marketing pieces and then getting back to your business. So it's not one day a week that you're getting together to make a video for the following Monday. Maybe it's one day every month where you're getting together and it's just a long day where you're knocking everything out. That could be how you get all your videos done every month. The first Tuesday of every month, we're going to sit down and record 5 videos, whatever it is. That's one key to staying ahead. The second thing I think is really cool that I just found out about at the end of 2020 is Facebook's new business suite. If you're not using it, I think you definitely should. That's one of the apps actually I mentioned that I would keep on my phone. What it does is Facebook now allows you to connect your Instagram and your Facebook. So now you can schedule posts on both Facebook and Instagram. So you can sit down, record those videos one day and edit them that day or the next day, or have your video guy edit them, whatever it comes down to. If you take my course, then I'm going to teach you how to edit really efficiently. So you can do it in one day, but come up with those, get them done, and then schedule them out for the next month. And then you literally don't have to think about it until the next month. They're already going to post live. All you got to do is, the 80-20 rule, 20% of your time creating, 80% of your time promoting it. Once you have it out there, then find people that'll help you share it. Like we talked about in episode 6, having that virality, working with those people. If you're bringing in influencers to come in and help you shoot this video, working with them so they know when that video goes live, hey, just message them. The video's out. If you would share it, that would be amazing. That kind of stuff. You can work on just building that traction for the video. But consistency, like I said, is where it's at if you want to do something over the long haul. Now, you might be thinking, Matt, you're on episode 11. What do you know about consistency? This is actually my second podcast that I've ever done. A few years ago, I had a podcast called Finding Creative Success. I believe it's actually still in iTunes. I'm still paying $5 a month, and I was on there the other day, and it actually showed that I'm getting 300 or 400 views a month. I just passed 30,000 views on that podcast, actually, or listens on that podcast, but I haven't posted there since 2018, probably. I think I stopped in January 2018, but it's still going. And that's just kind of like a constant megaphone. That's what I like to call a podcast, a megaphone for my business and for my brand. People who find that podcast are like, oh, Matt Peet, they're going to go look me up and they're going to be like, oh, well, he stopped this podcast in 2018, but now he's doing the Matt Peet Marketing Podcast where he's talking all about marketing. So it's going to build my brand. It's going to help build that up. But I had that podcast for about right at 2 years, and I had about 100 episodes in that podcast. So I was consistent. Every week an episode went out on Monday at like 3 a.m. or whatever it was. And I never missed an episode. I posted on Christmas, I had stuff going out and very consistent with it. And it helped me grow. And I didn't make any money directly from that podcast, but I got a bunch of referrals because I had that podcast. People, they reach out to me and say, hey, I heard you on this podcast. At the time I was doing a lot of weddings. So I heard you on the podcast. I have a bride that needs a videographer. Can you come down to Florida? And, that kind of stuff made me a lot of money just being known because I was consistently putting out content that helped people. So consistency, while you may not feel, it's like, oh, I put out my third week in a row posting a video and I've only gotten 40 views. Okay, but what's going to happen is one day you're going to put out a video and that video is going to get big. And they're going to go to your page and be like, wow, it's not just one video. This person has a whole archive of videos. And then all of your video views are going to go up because of that one video. Russell Brunson talks about a guy, don't know much about the situation or who the guy is, but he was talking about a specific subject. And Russell told him to go live every day and talk about a different aspect of it. And he's like, I really don't want to do this. And he did it every day. He was planning out these long things. And on like day 11 or 12, really early on, actually, he jumped on there. He's like, I don't feel like planning anything out today. This is kind of getting boring. I'm tired of it. I'm just going to phone one in today. So he was making his lunch and he wanted to talk about some kind of like scientific reaction that happened. I forgot what it was when he cooked his broccoli, what was happening or something like that. And he did. And that video went viral and he got thousands and thousands of views. And all of a sudden, like, people knew who he was in that industry. And like, they were talking about him. He had all these other videos that people were going back and watching. He was doing it every day and it just exploded. So all it really takes is one day you're going to post one video and that one is going to take you up a level. And then, maybe weeks later or months later, whatever it is, you're going to post another one and that one's going to bunch you up again or boost you up again. And it's going to be incremental. You're going to see slow growth at first. And then as you post more and more, you're going to have that backlog, that archive. Just stick to it and make sure that you have that consistent schedule. Set a schedule for yourself saying, I know at X date, this thing is going live. I have to have it ready by then. And then use Facebook Business Suite. You can schedule it to Instagram and Facebook to go live. You don't have to worry about it. It's out of your hands at that point. You can go on your website. If you're using something like WordPress, like I use, I can create 15 posts right now and schedule them to go live at specific dates. That way I can batch all of my work. So batching, scheduling, having that backlog, all key things to staying consistent. But the core of all of that planning is staying consistent because that's really what's going to help. So if you have any tools or tricks that you use in your business that's helping you stay consistent, I personally would love to know. So if you're watching on YouTube, drop it in the comments. If you're listening on the podcast, then head over to Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you can find me. The Matt Peet is usually where I'm at. And let me know because I'm always looking for new ways to stay consistent with my marketing. So if you have any advice for me, any additional stuff, I would love that. Absolutely love it. But that's all I've got for you today. Remember, stay consistent, keep working hard, and remember that marketing matters.